Guys, I'm going to be so for real. There were too many tournaments happening this weekend, like way too many. I'm not making an intro, but what you need to know is a Scrafty got second at one of them. Or not Scrafty, a Scraggy got second at one of them. We're going to talk about it today. I am not making an intro for this video. You guys got to edit a video yesterday. But we're going to talk about all the tournaments that happened this weekend. There were way too many for me to keep up with. So I'm basically going to be kind of live reacting to this, but also giving my thoughts. If you guys enjoy this same point in time, leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. But yeah, this weekend we had the Thailand Masterball League, which is their Worlds qualifier. We had Santiago Regional Championships. We had the Utrecht Special Event, and we also had the Melbourne Regionals. So we're going to go through each one of these individually, but I do want to start off with Thailand because Thailand had the craziest one out of all of them. This channel is partnered with GamerSupps. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order GamerSupps through my link in the description down below or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. GamerSupps is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18 plus viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video. If I could find it. Oh, the only one I have is this screenshot. This is the only thing I have to cover it, but as you can see, the winner was, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, Anusak Jung, I believe. That was Caloric Shadow Rider Koraidon with Brute Bonnet, Tatsugiri Dondozo, and a Galarian Weezing. Now, this is an archetype that we see a lot, so we can kind of infer a few things about this team. Basically, the way that this team works, if you're not aware, is Galarian Weezing will use like Poison Gas and Toxic Spikes as a way to be able to wear down the opposing team along with one of the either Calyrex Shadow Rider or the Koraidon on lead. Koraidon on this team will basically always run the ability shield to make sure it's able to use Orichalcum Pulse. And Calyrex Shadow Rider doesn't have to worry about its ability getting turned off because of the fact that its ability just doesn't get turned off, which is stupid and dumb, and you should watch my video about nerfing Pokemon previous to this one. So basically you just open up with those two Pokemon, you set up your spikes, you turn off abilities, you do your best to pick up as many KOs as you can, and as soon as you have to, as soon as the opportunity seems to be correct, you get in Dondozo and Tatsugiri, and because Dondozo and Tatsugiri are so fat, they're able to order up Body Press, boost their defense, recovery, stall with leftovers, protect, and eventually your opponent just dies of old age. So that's how that works. But yeah, in second place, this is what I really want to cover. The rest of these, this is sort of standard fare. We have our like Lunala Koraidon, we have our Terapagos Cali Shadow with Screamtail support. We even have what seems to be a variant of the team that won the first regional. But that is a Scraggy. Now, luckily for us, the creator of the team actually has it. They've actually uploaded the PokePaste. So shout out to Boom and Gong, at Boom and Gong. There's a Boom and Gong with an N. Anyways, finalist in Pokemon Master Ball League 2025 with Scraggy. Unbelievable run for this team. Still cannot believe I'm crazy enough to pick and use in the most important tournament of the circuit and play out of my mind. Here's the rental. I'll be using it later, but the actual pace for this team, I've actually seen this a few times on ladder. This is not something I'm unfamiliar with, and that's because I play a lot of low ladder for fun, and because I can't escape it. No, I can escape it. I have a few higher ladder accounts, but it's fun to play low ladder. Scraggy is actually in a very unique position, because a lot of the important Pokemon in the format, we call them, I think it was like Alex Underhill put out a post, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're 49ers," and as you can see, when you have like a negative speed nature, here, they reach 49 speed. So Calyrex Ice Rider, Iron Hands, and Ursaluna Blood Moon, not Ursaluna Blood Moon, Ursaluna Hisuian, all hit this number at 0 speed, as you can see. Brave Nature, 0 speed, Brave Nature. And that's like a major complaint of this format, is the fact that these three Pokemon tend to speed tie more often than not. And it can be very frustrating having to play these games, especially Iron Hands into Calyrex and Iron Hands into Ursaluna and Ursaluna into Calyrex. It's all very strange. Scraggy is funny because it actually underspeeds all of them. With 0 speed, and what nature did they run? They ran Sassy Nature. Let's actually just pop this whole team in there. Why not? That's not what I wanted to do. Copy. Paste. As you can see, the Scraggy will always underspeed both the Iron Hands and the Calyrex. And what's interesting is the Iron Hands and the Calyrex are speed tied. I'm not brave enough to do that. I hate when I have to play those interactions on my own team. But by running 0 speed, Scraggy is going to be 2 points slower than both of them. It's 4 HP, 252 defense, 252 special defense, which is kind of interesting. You would typically max out the HP on this sort of thing and just choose one or the other. Or like invest a little more efficiently. But if it worked, it worked. Doesn't really matter. Scraggy's probably going to die in like 2 to 3 hits anyways. It's got Fake Out to allow for you to set up like Trick Room and stuff. But most importantly, it has coaching. Oh, actually, no, I know why they did that. Because of Endeavor. Because of Endeavor. If you're going to do that, I mean, like, technically speaking, you could also just go the extra mile and just focus sash it. But is there a focus sash somewhere in the team? No? Okay. But Scraggy is going to be able to go for a Fake Out, allow for your Pokemon to set up Trick Room, and now you're able to coach the Calyrex or the Iron Hands or even the Iron Treads if you really want to. Get its attack and defense up. Clear Amulet makes it very difficult to get rid of those stat boosts. Boost its attack, right? Sweep through the rest of the team. Foul Play is there to threaten not only Calyrex, you know, it's a stab foul play, so it hits extremely hard into Calyrex with the super effective, but also Ursaluna, because Ursaluna tends to run Terra Ghost. And yeah, and Endeavor is just there because you can just Endeavor everything in range of Iron Hands and Calyrex's attacks. It's like super, super crazy. Beyond that, you have like the standard stuff. Electric Seed for Farigiraf is like very good on these sorts of teams. We also have Choice Specs Miraidon, a very bulky Choice Specs Miraidon too. And of course, Life Orb, Iron Treads with high horsepower, Iron Head, Knockoff, and Protect. No Steel Roller, which is interesting. And then again, Steel Roller's been falling off a little bit, even though it's like super strong. Iron Head is good enough. So yeah, this team is just super cool. It's kind of funny because I have seen Scraggy plus Calyrex in previous formats, but it feels like in this particular format, or I've seen it in Reg G specifically, obviously, but in this particular format, because of the amount of Calyrex Ices, because of the amount of Pokemon weak to Foul Play, and because everything's just base 49, or everything just hits 49 speed, having this base 48 speed Pokemon just allows for you to get away with it a lot more often. And I mean, beyond the Scraggy, this is a fairly normal team. It's just like super cool that this one niche pick was able to make it all the way to second place. So obviously a big shout out to them. That is a super, super interesting team, and you can't help but appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to close out of that tab so I don't accidentally refer back to it again because I have way too many things open. But yeah, beyond that, yeah, shout out to Natanon. Yeah, beyond that, it's just like sort of a standard top cut. So yeah, next up. Let's talk about the Santiago Regional Championships. We'll talk about MDB's win last because MDB just freaking, who was that? It was Babe Ruth who he just called his shot. He was like right into the stadium seats or whatever, and he just hit it out of the park because MDB did it again. Don't know how he keeps doing it. He's just goated. Might be Wolfie level. I'm not even gonna lie. So, Santiago Regional Championships. 131 players competed at Santiago. This one was won by Max Morales. They were running another Cali Ice Miraidon team, which this is, yeah, I mean, like, Volcarona's been pretty solid this format. It's got a really solid matchup into Pokemon like Calyrex Ice, into Iron Hands especially. Being able to Rage Powder away Iron Hands is Drain Punches, low kicks, and everything. Cause a possible Flame Body burn, and even the fact that these things will sometimes run Quiver Dance is really good. And we, of course, have like screens plus your 2 Trick Room guys. Ursaluna, Hisuian form has just been absolutely killing at this format. And then second, we have Kenneth Gamboa, who is running a very similar team that did well at another event. I believe it is the regional winning team, because this is like choice band on the Urshifu, right? Yeah, so like we've seen this before. I'm mostly just trying to find the standouts. Juan actually did pretty well with Amoonguss, and Amoonguss hasn't been bad. I mean, Amoonguss did great in this tournament in particular, but it's kind of funny. A lot of people have been talking about like, oh, hey, maybe Amoonguss is a little washed up right now, and I don't think that's even possible for Amoonguss to be washed up. I think that's like a really weird take. A lot of people think that Amoonguss struggles in this format because of the existence in Miraidon, and while Miraidon did have like 50% usage in these, like all these tournaments because it's just a busted Pokemon, it's still an extremely useful Pokemon. There's still plenty of opportunities to go for those spores. And like, especially on a team like this where you're playing like a soft trick room option with the or sorry, I was looking at the other Wands team. When you're playing like a soft trick room option with like the Lunala and the Ursaluna, it is still plenty useful to be able to go for those spores against like Calyrex Ices that don't have like a Miraidon next to them, or any other trick room Pokemon to stop them in their tracks. So yeah, I think that like Amoonguss doing super well in this tournament, and like the high absence of Koraidon, Lunala plus not Raging Bolt, what's its name? Brew Bonnet is sort of an indicator of things sort of swaying back in Amoonguss's favor. Of course, we do see Cali Shadows Amazonta again in third. And yeah, no, I would say that this is like more of the same. What I think is kind of interesting, though, is that Terapagos did do quite well here, 12th place. I think that Terapagos, Cali Shadows in a really interesting place in the metagame. There's a lot of Snarl. Miraidon has begun to run Snarl, and it's extremely effective against these two Pokemon because it basically just doesn't need a Terra in front of them. It's able to lower their special attack stats. It's able to just be a huge nuisance and then just Volt Switch out whenever Rillaboom comes in so you can reset your terrain later. And it's just like really good into their main support option. Not main support, but look, their main non-restricted damaging Pokemon, which is going to be basically Urshifu Rapid Strike every single time. Since Urshifu Rapid Strike is just that guy, it's able to deal with a lot of things that Calyrex Shadow doesn't want to deal with, like Urshifu Dark or Incineroar, or even Grimmsnarl. It's very solid into that. And like Urshifu is just like, I don't want to say it's an essential pick right now because we do see teams winning tournaments without it, but it is in a really good place in the metagame right now. We're in like a screens meta, and I think as Urshifu picks up, screens will begin to fall off, but screens are just, it's so good in dual restricted. The Pokemon that you have just get so much more mileage out of the screens because of the inherent bulk that restricteds have. So it's just impossible not to respect it. And the way that you respect the screens option is by bringing ways to play around the screens. For example, Surging Strikes. So yeah, but this was a relatively tame top cut for Santiago Regionals. I don't really have much to say about it. I think the metagame hasn't stagnated right now. We've mostly just seen that like Miraidon Lunala and Miraidon Calyrex are very good. Koraidon Lunala. I think what we're basically establishing is that the way that you do good in these tournaments is either you play like Cali Shadow Zamba with balance, right? Or Cali Shadow Terapagos with balance options. You can see like these balance teams here. Or you do sort of like a soft trick room with Miraidon or soft trick room with Koraidon. You hit things really hard, get in the Ursaluna to beat whatever, and you play your speed ties. Not the most fun way to play the game. I'm not a Reg I hater just yet, but I do have to point that out. That is kind of like strange that we're kind of playing speed ties at the moment. Not a big fan of that. Okay. Let's talk about, am I forgetting one? Did we talk about Melbourne? Okay, I have Melbourne right here. Okay. We'll do Melbourne. So Melbourne, this is arguably the most interesting champion of all the teams that we saw this week. And here's the reason. That is an Assault Vest Walking Wake. I think that AV Snarl is on the rise right now, just because Miraidon is everywhere, Calyrex Shadow is everywhere, and Lunala is everywhere. And the thing is that you can't really pick a Snarl Pokemon that is a Snarl bot. I wouldn't say Chi-Yu is a Snarl bot, but it is a scoutable Snarl Pokemon because they tend to be Choice Scarf right now. So you can just wait for them to click that button and then go for the Wide Guard the next turn. You can like just make them have to select it and then wall them out indefinitely. Where the more niche options like the AV Miraidon or the AV Walking Wake, as we see right here, are actually really cool because they don't just threaten Snarl. It isn't a Pokemon that it's like, okay, it's going to come in and it's going to Snarl. No. This is an AV Walking Wake on a Koraidon team. It's going to be able to get its booster, whether it's special attack or speed, and threaten you with a boosted Hydro Steam, right? Hydro Steam deals extra damage in Sun. It's a very powerful special attack, and it's very difficult to switch in on, especially when they can, Terra Water to double down into it while getting rid of their Fairy weakness and their Dragon weakness. And then also just threaten Draco Meteor on top of that. And this set especially is really cool because Hydro Steam and Draco Meteor will knock things down like Calyrex Shadow into their Sash. And you're going to survive the Calyrex Shadow Astral Barrage because of your AV. And now that they're at Sash, you just Aqua Jet. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Aqua Jet on a Sun team, are they weird for running this? No. It makes sense. You just want to pick off Calyrex Shadow Riders more easily. You want to pick off the Chien-Paos more easily. And this enables that, especially since with the speed booster, Chien-Pao isn't going to be able to Sucker Punch first. You just have that guaranteed Aqua Jet into them. But yeah, no, this is like a really cool team that won the whole event. I mean, we do see like Weezing, Koraidon, and Cali Shadow a lot, but this team forgoes the Dondozo in favor of a really interesting pick in the Walking Wake, which also just pairs super well with Chi-Yu. I mean, like Koraidon, Walking Wake, Chi-Yu, I don't know how to switch in on that. Do you know how to switch in on that? I don't. It's water, fire, dark coverage. There's not much you can do. It's just like a really deadly combo. Of course, you know, like Booster Energy Flutter Mane does do relatively well into these two. But you're dealing with Scarf Chi-Yu, so you do need the Sun. And if the Sun is up, now Walking Wake outspeeds you, and you get hit by Terra Water, Hydro Steam in Sun, which deals extra damage, not reduced damage again. So it's just like a really cool pick. Also, the Walking Wake has a really good matchup into Sash Flutter, which is like the standard Flutter at the moment, because you can just go for the Hydro Steam and then Aqua Jet, and then they just drop. So really, really cool team here. I actually really appreciate that pick. Other things that we see, I mean, like Terapagos, Cali Shadow did quite well. We have Terapagos, Zamazenta that did quite well. We see these two balanced teams going around. And then we have Scott Kennedy with the Annihilate and the screens. I was actually waiting for someone to run Annihilate again, because here's the thing. I've been looking at Annihilate for like 3 weeks now. I've been looking at them, trying to figure out when is the right time to run it. And I think that this format is actually a really solid time to be an Annihilate player. And here's the reason. 110 base HP. You know what the average HP stat is of like restricted legendaries? It's 100. So you're going to one-shot most legendaries. Like the vast majority of them. No one's running Eternatus. Well, not no one. No one's running Giratina. Well, not no one. But that plus Kyurem plus like Lunala, which you can't Final Gambit anyways. These are the only Pokemon, and Solgaleo, which no one's gonna run. Like these are the Pokemon that you can't one-shot. Also, like, you know, Terapagos Stellar, but it's not like you're gonna do that to him anyways. Most of the restricted legendaries cannot eat it. Big ones, Calyrex Ice. Calyrex Shadow doesn't want to take like a Shadow Claw or anything. Miraidon, Koraidon, they don't want to eat it. They have to rely on partner Pokemon like Flutter Mane or some kind of like Tailwind Pokemon to make sure that they're not able to Final Gambit before you attack. And on top of that, like, it has coaching. Like, we've seen this before. And Brick Break's also just like such a solid fighting type pick right now. A lot of people will run close combat, but the thing is, we're in a screens meta. How do you beat screens? You get rid of them. This player's playing screens themselves. Beyond that, it's a really cool team. The Indeedee is like a really strange pick for this sort of archetype because it sort of has anti-synergy with Miraidon. I think if I were to build like a similar team, that would probably be like an Ogerpon Hearthflame or something. Just because you still want to follow me. Oh, wait, no, it's not anti-synergy. Wait a minute. Wait, that's synchronized Indeedee. They got the boneless Indeedee in Melbourne. It's synchronized Focus Sash. Never mind. I get it. It's a non-psychic train Indeedee. It still makes sense. Your Focus Sash. So you're gonna eat a hit. You're able to like follow me away any one attack and then another one. It sort of functions like a Cornerstone Ogerpon. It basically is just a Cornerstone Ogerpon, but with Helping Hand and like full support and Fake Out, right? Rather than Spike You Shield, Ivy Cudgel, Taunt sort of thing. So this is a freaky one. Wait, it gets freakier the more you look at it. AV Miraidon used to be freaky and then it won. But yeah. And then beyond that, it's standard fare. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing sort of like what is the Pokeball? No, you had 6 Pokemon, right? Did you bring a 5 Pokemon? I don't believe it. I need to see it to believe it. 14th, we had Drew Bliss. There was a Giratina in top 16. So we do have to talk about that, obviously. Otherwise, you guys are going to get mad at me. Is it coaching? It is coaching. Okay. So this is actually something that... It's actually very similar to the team that I built a long time ago, where I wanted to use Giratina. And I basically said, like, the only way you're going to get away with Giratina is doing, like, Terra Ghost coaching plus, like, Poltergeist or Shadow Sneak, that sort of thing. This one foregoes the Terra Ghost. Terra Fire does make sense. You don't want to get hit by Glacial Lance for super effective damage. You can resist it now, and Giratina is also, like, a super bulky Pokemon. You also are really concerned about Lunala, but +1 Poltergeist is more than enough to one-shot Lunala, as long as you're not getting outsped and Meteor Beamed, because then that move doesn't hit it anymore. That's the freaky part. I keep saying freaky today. But yeah, this is a really cool team. It's just like coaching 6 physical attackers. We've seen that function before. Really solid. Good for you. Good for you, Drew Bliss. Good for you. And yeah, beyond that, mostly standard fare. Calyrex Ice plus Kyogre's very solid. We have like Sun teams plus Group Bonnet. Okidogi is really cool, especially with Glimmora. Ooh, wait, what's this? Venoshock, Mortal Spin, Power Gem, Toxic Debris. I'd imagine this is like anti-Terapagos tech. Yeah, I mean, Glimmora does really solid into that sort of thing. Okidogi has Gunk Shot, Throat Chop, Close Combat, Drain Punch, not coaching or anything. Citrus Berry, Rillaboom is also quite an interesting pick, but I guess it makes sense because the Okidogi is taking up the Assault Vest slot. And Miracle Seed doesn't get you as much mileage in a restricted format as it does in like a non-restricted, so having the extra bulk in lieu of like the AV being taken, Citrus Berry does make a bit of sense. And we have like Leech Seed, Calyrex Ice, so that's what we're going to have to talk about in a second. Leech Seed, Calyrex Ice on the rise. We'll talk about Utrecht. All right, MDB, the GOAT. Calyrex Ice, Leftovers, Leech Seed, Glacial Lance, Trick Room, Protect. No coverage, just straight Leech Seed, Glacial Lance behind screens. So why is this good? Why is this good? Well, I actually talked about it in the video from yesterday, where I said a Pokemon with Calyrex Ice's stats would normally be Leech Seed stalling, but it has 165 base attack and Glacial Lance, so it's not going to do that. It's going to take KOs. And that's what MDB did. MDB did. He took KOs with Glacial Lance, and the Leech Seed is really cool because behind screens, it's very easy to sit in on opposing physical attackers. And like with Terra Water, you're able to sit in against Calyrex Ice and just always win the exchange with Calyrex Ice. And I feel like a lot of games come down to that. And it's also very good into Iron Hands because Iron Hands has such a fat HP stat. I think it's like base 140 or something like that. It might even be higher. Is it like 155? Let me see. Iron Hands, what's your HP stat? It's 154, yeah. With 154 base HP compared to your base 100, you're actually getting a pretty solid amount of health back from that, which means you're going to recover quite a bit. The low kick isn't going to be pleasant, but you'll be able to eat it a lot better with that passive recovery, especially with the leftovers, and you just protect on it. So you're going to win exchanges a lot more easily. You're going to be able to get things down into Glacial Lance range just by waiting, which is really cool. And then we, of course, have like screens plus Choice Band, Urshifu, plus AV, Incineroar. We have Taunt on the Landers, which I think is a really good tech. I've always said Taunt wins regionals. It's one of the most important moves you can have on a team, especially into like opposing Trick Room, into like opposing weird strats like Dragon Cheer. Like if you ever see that, sometimes it can get out of hand. Not really common, but when you're going through like a huge tournament like this, it's really important to make sure you're prepared for just about everything. So putting a non-prankster Taunt on a team is really good. Typically you would see it on like a Sash Urshifu or even like a Mystic Water Urshifu. But since it's Choice Band, obviously you want to throw that on like the Landorus or something. And since the Incineroar is AV, you can't do that either. But yeah, MDB played phenomenally as always, clutching out this tournament. In second, we see Cali Shadow plus Zamazenta from Louis Markle's team. It's just going to be sort of standard stuff. Life Orb Nasty Plot's pretty cool, especially when there's no Sash on the team. Typically, you would see like a Focus Sash on the Calyrex Shadow with this sort of archetype. Since, you know, even if you take a little bit of chip damage, Rillaboom's Grassy Surge can get you back up pretty easily. But it makes sense. I mean, like the extra damage, especially with so much pressure coming from this team, Hearth Flame, Rillaboom, Zamazenta, Choice Scarf, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, like there's a lot of pressure. It's going to be pretty easy to get that Nasty Plot off and then just sweep through with the Astral Barrage. And I guess it also makes sense with the Terra Dark. You're untauntable, you're going to be a better defensive typing, and this sort of implies that there's going to be a little more bulk on the Pokemon just to ensure that you're able to reliably get off those plots and sweep in a couple of turns. So really solid team. Obviously got second. Ooh, we have our resident Sneasler enthusiast. I can't remember. I believe this is the person that did like incredible with Sneasler sometime in Reg G, right? Electric Seed, yeah, this is like the same set. Electric Seed, Close Combat, Fake Out, Throat Chop with Gunk Shot, right? You don't really run Dire Claw because Dire Claw's main purpose is to put things to sleep. Like, we're not even gonna lie, the reason Dire Claw is broken, it's not really the poison. The paralysis is nice. It's mostly the sleep. So when you can't sleep things because of your own electric terrain, Gunk Shot, you're gonna be able to one-shot opposing Terra Fairy Miraidon. You're gonna be able to one-shot opposing just general fairy types. I mean, like even like Fluttermane doesn't want to eat that hit, and since you're unburdened, you're gonna outspeed like Booster Energy Fluttermane at +2, where the Fluttermane's only at +1. You have the Tailwind support. You have Rain Dance to beat the Koraidon teams that usually do quite well into Zamazenta Miraidon, and of course Blood Moon Ursaluna with Farigiraf. Like a tried and true combo is going to do quite well in this metagame. I think Ursaluna Blood Moon is kind of underrepresented for how strong it is right now. Obviously, like the base Ursaluna tends to do a little bit better because it's a little slower. It does well in Trick Room, but just being able to like spam your Life Orb Hyper Voices with Terra Normal, and of course throw out a Blood Moon. This mon's basically like a mini restricted, and yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else worth mentioning, because I kind of want to speed run this review of the tournament. I have to go pick up my cat from a doctor's appointment in a few minutes here. P2 did quite well. Of course, it's on a Terapagos team. It's going to be one of the fattest teams to have to deal with. Luckily, no screens, though. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about some like the more interesting picks that happened this week. There was so much to cover that it's like impossible to watch all these tournaments. But hopefully I got most of like the interesting bits. Just wanted to give like a brief overview and give my thoughts. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.